where I'm going to start the edit. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Slop Shop. Today, only like 2 weeks late, we have our first installment of Sloppy Toppy with SuperInsaiyan. And I forgot to, show where, I wanted it to have both of us, but it's only got me kind of small. So, we're gonna keep all this in. Start talking.
I think if you click on your image, it'll like your little camera, it'll make them both the same size.
Nope. But we'll figure it out as
No?
we go.
Okay.
There we go. Alright, so we're going to be talking about the April 26th premiere. Sadly, Heel did not win. Heel's
Yeah, I thought you were thought you were winning.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, how well did you do?
I think, how many rounds was it? 7? Yeah, I went 4-3. Lost round 2 to Fire, and then lost round 3 to Fire. Spirits were broken. Lost round 7 to, I don't even know what. Something I didn't feel like I should be losing to. He played it well, but I think I was also just mentally out of it.
Not to be that guy, but I went undefeated.
XO, truly impressive.
Yeah,
Won the
that's
whole event.
because I was on a boat in the middle of the ocean and not playing.
Well, you know who was playing? SirTractor.
Uh,
SirTractor was
yeah,
playing out of his
several people,
mind.
but
Well, nope, just him. It was just
no,
him.
he was the only one.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's easy to win the event when you're the only player.
Well, he won with a Cryosect, which is, Cryovern or Cryo Scorch Turbo, as it might turn out to be, and Rhino Suck, another fucking card I hate. Um, I I have nothing against SirTractor. It is nothing personal. I just hate those cards because of what people have done to me at locals with them.
Show us on the plushie where you. No, I'm not gonna.
The first in person larger event that was in Atlanta. I don't think it was a premiere, but it was just a larger event. On feature match, game 3, I was playing against this deck, not SirTractor, but my buddy Davis, and he ascended into fucking Cryo Scorch that he sided in, and that killed me. I had game next turn, but he sided into Cryo Scorch and whooped my ass.
Should have had game that turn.
Yeah, so it is personal. This I don't think this was a deck anybody was expecting to top, much less win the
Well,
whole
I
event.
mean, you mentioned before we hit record or broadcast or whatever that you want to talk about the poison nectar because I mean
Yeah,
you said nobody's expecting this to top, but then
the most recent Poison Nectar Monthly, I believe SirTractor was also the winner of that one on this same deck. And people write off the PNMs as not real events, and I think that there is some validity to that. People aren't going to be bringing their A game, trying as hard as for a premiere. But I heard from a few different people, oh, this PNM is clearly it's not really representative of the meta because this deck won. And now we see, well, wrong. This shit is real.
yeah, I mean, looking at the list though, because we have it pulled up, nothing seems weird. I mean, I guess the main deck Cryo Scorch is a little unorthodox, but other than that, everything is exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean it's a standard list. I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this list is fully legal in Frostfall.
Let's take a look. No, it has Cryoblast and Eddy, which are both Daybreak
Okay, yeah.
cards.
But
And then, yeah, that's it. Everything else, including the side deck, is Frostfall or earlier. It's literally just those 5 cards, the 2 Cryo and the 3 Eddy.
yeah, I mean I'm sure that those cards are important. It's not the main strategy though, which is crazy. When we see something like my heal list top, the only Moonrise cards I'm playing are Spoiled Fruit, and that's only in the side. So we see, we're going in the Moonrise meta. We take a step back to see Heal win, and now we take 2 steps back, see Frost win.
I mean, that
Uh,
just seems like a problem with Alestrals in general, is that nothing new beats
Nothing ever
the old.
changes.
Because, I mean, even if we're looking at the second place deck, there's more than I thought, but it's still for the most part old cards.
Okay, well, second place was Draking. I don't know how impactful Draking was compared to just the good stuff water. However, Draking is a Moonrise card. That is a Moonrise deck for sure.
Yeah, but then you look at like, because he talked a little bit, or not he, but on stream, they talked a little bit about the strategy, and the strategy seemed to very heavily involve Foamy, which is a base set card.
Yeah.
And then you have your Galaxies, which is base set. You have your Sluggle, your Astrabbit, your Elichick, all base set. And it's like the primary engine of this deck is base set with a couple of Moonrise cards thrown in.
Yeah. So I mean, it is you might be trying to play the Moonrise cards, but you are doing so playing a core of base set.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not inherently bad. I don't want a set to come out where every card in that set is so crazy that it rewrites the whole metagame. You can build a whole deck just off those cards. I think that would be a little too much power creep.
That's exactly what I want.
I mean, if you pick a deck like Lunar, I don't think that would be too hard to say. Here's a lineup of cards that are just better than everything you have of this element so far, because we really don't have any other than Spectaris. I don't think we have any good generic Lunar cards. But
I'm actually interested in seeing one other statistic, so I'm going to run through the rest of the top 8 decks while you yap about whatever you want to yap about.
I want to yap about third place too, being a Pentair. I don't know if this was third. It was top 4, but at Dallas it was third place. Also played by Ari from Penthouse. This is an intimidating deck to play against. I think I played against a Pentair deck in this event. Luckily, I did have like 4 Spectaris in my hand at the time, so it was like I can walk over these Hydrakes no problem. But that is a very intimidating deck if you
So
don't have the album.
I was able to confirm what I wanted to confirm, which is aside from exactly SirTractor, every single deck played Zeus or Demeter.
Yeah.
The face you're making says it
I
all.
mean, I think it is reasonable to assume Zeus is not going to go back to limited because of the Champions of Zeus coming out in Firestorm. However,
It needs
fuck
to.
that guy. Oh my god. Please put him back to 1. Zeus and Demeter at 1 was like peak.
I think personally, and these results are going to back that up, that with the strength of those 2 cards and the fact that, and this is an assumption, we don't have any official confirmation on this, but just based on what we've seen and what we've heard from A Drive himself, it seems like he wants the game to be very divine focused,
Yeah.
which means that these cards are likely not going to get hit in any kind of impactful way. I think that with results like these, where 7 of the 8 top decks, and it's not just this tournament, like if you go back to any of the topping tournaments, it's pretty much the same. I think it warrants some kind of errata.
I don't know if that is something that they're open to. I would love to hear they say that 3 on Zeus is actually supposed to be a 2, something like that.
So that's one of the things that I think could fix it, is making both Demeter and Zeus a plus and minus 2
Mm-hmm.
instead of 3. The other thing is doing the Aeolus treatment and making them cost 2.
Yeah, that's fair. Make it more expensive and fewer uses of it. I mean, my personal take on I think Demeter is not bad, but I think Zeus is clearly the main offender. You're already playing Zaptors for Elichick. I mean, or you're already playing it for Rabbit, but it also helps you with Elichick to search the Zeus. I think we
Yeah.
just need to ban Zaptor.
Just entire Thunder's
Fuck
just dead.
Zaptor.
We're
Fuck
we're gonna we're
Thunder.
gonna make a new element. It's gonna be called Lightning. It's gonna look exactly the same, except it just functions differently because screw those cards. They
There's
were
no
a
Rabbit.
mistake.
There's no Zeus. There's no Elichick. There's no Voltempest. All the offenders are gone.
No, I do think that that is a very interesting statistic that as soon as those cards came back from being the, temporary limited, that is just the meta, like, is reliant on them again.
Yeah, I mean, we see in my list from two premieres ago. I'm on two main deck Zeus. Uh, I don't know how many decks from that premiere were on Zeus and Demeter, but I
I'm sure we could go find that, but that's way too much work right now.
I would assume it's a lot of them. If you're playing really any deck, there is room for Elichick, Zeus, Astrabbit. We're still at the point pre Firestorm where decks don't have any kind of like crazy consistency, so you need that Astrabbit. The 5 defense is also crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I think that looking at these results, we definitely need some kind of answer for the divine runes.
I mean, yeah, whether it's the searchers get removed or actually fuck if you want to play plucky. Uh, I don't know. I want Zeus and Demeter to go back to 1. That still doesn't even make it that hard on your spirit deck though, because you're going to be playing Earthquake, you're going to be playing Astrav and Elichick. If you're
So
on Argo, you're going to be on Scythe, so you're already going to be in these elements regardless.
so that's why I think there's a stronger argument for like errataing them. Because we saw that when they were put to 1, instead of playing 2 Zeus or 2 Demeter, people were playing 1 Zeus, 1 Demeter, and it was essentially just the same thing.
Yeah.
And then now, okay, cool, they're back because we thought that maybe with the Moonrise meta that things would change, and then you get decks which, like, I mean, it hasn't topped in a couple, but like Lunar Aggro, which is really good off the back of Zeus because Nobby Zeus outs anything. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like even though we're seeing a much more diverse game in the last several premieres, at the end of the day, the fact that they're all just built on the core. I think it was Kevin that like posted a meme that it was like, okay, guys, what Alestral's deck is this? And it was like 25 of the same cards. And like you can go through this top cut and like look at it, and it's pretty much the same thing. There's every deck is sharing the same 20 something cards with a little bit of flavor.
I mean, the inclusion of Argo in so many lists even like is making that even worse if you're talking about deck diversity, because there's really not that many decks who that don't want to be in on Argo. I would say, the Draking deck, I think it makes sense not to be in on Argo.
I'm
Uh,
looking at it now to see how many were actually on Argo. So far it's 3, and I'm about halfway down.
well, let's see. The Pantera deck wasn't on Argo. I don't think Cryosec, that stuff doesn't play Argo. So maybe,
Five
if
of
you
them,
guys like
five of the top 8 were on Argo.
I think that's fine. A little over half with the first and second place not being on it. Uh, actually, the the 3 that weren't on it were all top 4. So maybe Argo's a bad card.
I have died on this hill since day one. Argo is the worst card that was released in Daybreak and maybe the entire game.
I don't think I can stand by that.
You pay 4 to lose the game.
You pay for it to hope not to lose the game.
Okay, that's a big hope. That is a very big hope. And then it opens you to, I mean, we see it in the winning list. He was on Lavalith. It opens you to Lavalith. It opens you to Laurels. And it's just like, it's so expensive. Now, I do think it gets better
Yeah, once you
in
get the
2
Volcaries.
weeks.
Yeah.
But
Well, in
until
some
then,
cases, you can even go Spirit
garbage
Positive
card.
with Argo in the Volcaries list. You activate
Yeah, and
Argo, put on Poison Tunic, and your opponent gets burned too. I guess that's Spirit even, but yeah, I mean it gets a lot. It's very good in that deck for sure.
yeah, but like the fact that again, it's all about deck diversity. And right now, if you're looking at all 8 of these decks from the last event, they're the same. They have slightly different flavor to them, but they're the same deck.
I mean, I think that there's an argument that they are very similar, but I would say something like the Cryosect deck is wildly different than the the not Pentair. Well, yeah, it's it's different than the Pentair deck. It's different than like the Pharaohgeist Turbo deck. I think there's actually a good amount of variety here.
I'll agree
Some
with
decks are.
you.
Go on.
Sorry, I'll agree with you that the Penterror and the Cryosec deck are like vastly different. But if you look at the rest of them, they're all just like good stuff pile. You can argue that Bo's list is also slightly unique, but then like you really break it down and it's still just good stuff pile. You've got your 5 attacker, you've got your healer, you've got your Astrabbit, your Elichick, your Eddie,
But it's a
and
different
it
color.
ooh, different color.
I mean, this time, uh, Bo was on like triple Heliolith. He was really in on like a solar artifact deck, and I think part of that is goes to speak about how much he thought Argo was going to be in the meta. And I think that's part of the reason why Cryo Scourge or not Rhino Suck. I think that's part of the reason why that's a good meta call is because you can pop any empowered Celestial. It doesn't have to be empowered by an Celestial.
Yeah, that's I think that's more so just a meta call to people playing a bad card. So, but like again, the whole thing is just like looking at these top cut decks. They are all very similar, with the exception of Penterror and Rhinosect.
I think even with a similar deck composition though, it's very possible to have a very different play style. Like if you look at a deck like Heal versus a deck like Lunar Aggro, if you're playing Water Heal, there's a lot of there can be you play the Eddies, the Astrabbits, Elichick and Zeus, all of this. The deck can look very similar. However, it's got a different mindset that you're trying to play with. You've got a different goal of in Heal you want your opponent to play. In any deck that isn't Heal, you would prefer if your opponent didn't play the game. Uh, so even if there is a very similar deck composition, I think that there is diversity in play style at least.
That's fair. I still just don't like the fact that we're seeing all of the same cards that we've been seeing for months now.
Yeah.
Like, even with different playstyles, your opponent summons an Eddie on you. Cool, we've been summoning Eddie for a year. Your opponent heals with Sluggle, Quackle, Calfmel, whatever. It's like, again, it's the same flavor across every. It's the same deck with very, like, minimalized flavor.
Yeah. I think that
And that
that's true.
circles back to what I was saying. I want that set that just wipes everything.
Do you think Firestorm is going to be that set?
I think it's a step in the right direction. There are a lot more game plan decks,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really interested to see what the top cut of the first Firestorm event is going to look like. We do still have one more Moonrise event, though. I think it's on the 17th. Dan tweeted we're going to want to join this one, and apparently there's some kind of announcement tomorrow, so we'll see what that is.
For anybody who hasn't
Um,
looked at the Play Network recently, it looks a little different. If you go
oh,
to
does it?
rankings, yeah, it looks like they've revamped their ranking system. You can see,
Oh, I hate that.
yeah, I'm not
Can,
sure if I like the
no, 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 no,
layout.
no. Not the
What?
layout. Can you just out loud read second place for me?
No, I can't actually.
Why not?
Hecka moist. I mean, like that's just Moist is an interesting word. Hecka is like not even a word. I don't like any of that.
And the fact that he's on top of Butter 5.
But if you scroll down like a little bit, not too far, you scroll down to number 12 right there, you'll see Julian W. Uh, unfortunately, he took second place to Caleb at locals this week, which is, Monday is when they reset this. So for a good bit, I think it was like the Tuesday after, so I guess yesterday. The top 14, half of us were all from my locals, which was really fun.
Must be nice to have a locals. I wonder what that's like.
Oh man, it's really nice. I'm gonna go to a different locals on Saturday too. Get put even higher up on this ranking. Don't tell Ren that.
You gonna edge out Hecka Moist?
I Hecka Moist and I are always edging, but I think I'll be able to finish first.
Oh my god! And that is sloppy toppy, ladies and gentlemen.
I
Thank
will
you all
say
for
that I
coming.
have been cheating at locals, and I will continue to cheat. I am playing my Torchin that I won. I am playing the new Leica Void that I pulled from my first TP3. I'm playing like a really, really bad mill pile. I think my plan is to play mill until it gets a top in Firestorm. I think that mill gets really good in Firestorm. I don't think it's the best thing. We will be talking about it in Sloppy Toppy. We won't.
Well, it's got to top first. We can't
I
talk
mean,
about things that aren't topping.
we're talking about me, and I didn't top.
Okay, you literally won not this last one, the one before it. So shut up.
I'm gonna win the next one too.
Okay.
50% of the time that I've said on video, I'm going to win the next event, it's come true. So
Okay,
at this
it's about
point,
to be 33%.
well, I did say on video I was going to win Dallas. So there's been a few times, but one time it's worked. So I just got to keep trying.
Yeah,
Usually it doesn't
10% of the time it works every time.
Ow!
That's your own fault. Why would you fuck with her like that?
She loves it. She loves it. Look at that.
Clearly not. She's biting you and scratching you.
That's how she expresses that she's having a good time.
Yeah, in that chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her chair. She likes it. But yeah, what do you think is going to be showing back up in the next premiere, the last Moonrise premiere, from our current top 8, and what do you think is going to change?
So, if you look at the top 8, there are 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd say 6 of the 8 are consistent toppers.
Mm-hmm.
So the decks that they're on are, well, I mean, you can't count Dimax. Dimax just does random shit.
I don't think Dimax has ever been on the same deck, so that one's probably going to change.
If you've ever seen that Moon Knight meme of random bullshit go, that's Dimax. So you can't really count that. But looking at everything else, you've got Ari on Pent. He's topped a couple, obviously. Obviously, he took third at Dallas as well. So seeing either Pent or Ari or both back wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Trishula is just going to continue catching those bouquets. I think, he was just... Oh, no, he was on fire. So that's an interesting one, the Lunar Fire.
I think that's
I watched
going to stay in the top. That got, 2 or 3 spots in top 8 in the last premiere before this one?
I'm not 100% sure on that one. I was really busy that day. I entered for the premiere packs and left.
I know
but
that
I was
shirt got top 4 with it. But
I was watching some of Trish's matches, and Ash Rabbit is a nasty card. God. He was cycling that Ash Rabbit for 6 turns.
This premiere, the one that I didn't top, I played against Not Sure It again on that a little different list. However, they did cycle 4 or 5 cards in one game with Ash Rabbit against me. Just heartbreaking. I think they were on 2 spirits, and then they trigger the Ash Rabbit and go Ambrosia, Altar of Stars. What am I gonna do? Yeah, take the Altar.
Well, because what is it?
Nexus again. Nexus onto the Rabbit. Altar of Stars again.
I think
Real
what I
psychology.
remember Trish doing was he would do like Ambro Fire Spirit. And of course you're giving him the Fire Spirit because it is less spirits than he would get with the Ambro, but then it just funds the Ash Rabbit every turn.
Yeah.
And so you just get to infinitely do that until eventually, like, what is your opponent going to do? You have a massive dude that they can't get over because it's got a 5 butt. You can continue to pay off all of your counter runes for essentially free because you just keep putting back a spirit and then you use the spirit that you just paid under the rabbit. And it's like, that was really cool to see. And then, of course, it gives you the Nexus Bank for Kinleo, and it's just absolutely crazy.
I think that that is an interesting play style. I don't think it really progresses your game plan anywhere, but
It, like I said, so it gives you free activations of your runes. It gives you your Nexus Bank for your Kinleo, and it keeps you alive because, like, what else are you putting those spirits on if you don't have anything?
yeah.
And the Ash Rabbit is, again, a 5 defense. So good luck.
I think I would always prefer to be re-enchanting an Ash Rabbit than an Ash Rabbit, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're limited to the number of Thunder Spirits that you can feasibly play when your game plan is Lunar Fire.
yeah. You know what? Let's just go back to Thunder. You know,
No, let's not do
we
that.
had Daybreak win the first premiere, then we had Frostfall win this one. Let's have Base Set win the next one. Let's get, Thunder Nexus. Let's see
No,
somebody roll up with the
absolutely not.
Thunder structure deck and whip out a Spark It.
You know, if anybody is watching this and entering that premiere, if you top with the Thunder structure deck, starter deck, whatever you want to call it, I will send you a playset of Stellar Sparkets.
Even more appealing than that, I'll let you come on this show.
Yeah, you ever want Sloppy Toppy with
If
Julian?
you want me to give you some sloppy toppy, win with just top. You don't even have to win. Just top with that started. Ow.
Can we not phrase it as you giving them Sloppy Toppy? Can we just say with you featuring them on Sloppy Toppy? You giving it to them is not the connotations we need.
I think I'm okay with giving that connotation. I'm okay with giving sloppy toppy to strangers.
Okay, I can't wait to like flip that and send it to everyone.
But yeah, I think like we were saying about the decks that topped this event.
I mean,
um,
there's a lot of like Lunar Earth deck. There's a lot of Lunar Fire. Um, and I think that, going back to the question you initially asked, that's what we're going to see the most of in the next one, more than likely.
yeah. Actually, shout out to the best deck name in top 8, The Slop featuring Pharaohgeist. Oh, I have to imagine that they named it just for us on the Slop Shop.
Yeah, because they knew about the segment Sloppy Toppy and they were trying to get
And
featured.
I'm sure that they have heard of my channel. Who hasn't really? Oh, there she goes. Or not.
Oh,
She's just gonna sit there.
she figured out how to open the door. Congrats.
I'm hoping, as funny as the name is, that Pharaohgeist doesn't show back up because I will be playing in this event and I do not want to fucking play against Pharaohgeist.
They brought you out.
Just draw the out, last time I played against Pharaohgeist was at locals and I just forgot that this card had text. I could have PTA'd it when somebody cast it and I was like, oh no, I don't care. I've got shield set. Oh well.
Classic. That's when you shield and then chain Gorgon's Gaze, and you pay 8 spirits to out it.
Oh, I paid a lot more than that. I think that it just hit me in the face because I didn't PTA it and then I lost the game.
Oh, I just figured it out. Play the Centarbor starter deck because you get 2 Earthquakes.
I think there's 2 Earthquake in the Thunder starter deck, aren't there?
Oh, is it? Okay, then you do it.
Yeah.
You top with the.
No,
Yeah, go
fuck
ahead.
Thunder. I hate Thunder. Okay, so this deck is actually this Pharaohgeist deck is not what I would have expected. No Co Malice, which is like it's fine if you just hoping to draw it. and if you don't draw it, you're just playing like good lunar with some solar in it. Uh, there's only one full moon though, and only two werepup. I would have expected three werepup, two full moon, just to turn on the Ferrogeist more often.
Yeah, that does seem like a weird ratio, but I mean, he topped, so you can't really argue with it.
Yeah.
But I do agree because like there was a bit where I was playing a Ferrogeist deck where, obviously full moon is the best way to get into it
Yep.
because you can just slap two spirits on and ascend. Um, so it's like unless you specifically have the Ferrogeist at the time that you also need to go for your Like a Void play, like the chances of it happening seem pretty minimal.
Looks like they were also on three Navi, one Doppelganger in the side. More cards that benefit from playing full moon. Uh,
Yeah, the one of definitely seems weird.
Even if you're on only two werepup, I think you still play the second full moon. But
I'm just curious why it's only two werepup. Like, so looking at the list, which, you don't want to edit, so they're not going to see it unless they go look for it. It's three Specteris, two Werepup. I feel like those ratios should be swapped.
yeah, I mean, if you're on the read that your opponents are going to be playing fucking Hydrake and Foamy, the third Specteris is correct. But
Well, yeah, maybe that's why they topped. They were specifically going against Dimax and Ari.
they had the read. I mean, with me playing heal getting first last time, Specteris is a threat because that actually outs the calf melt before it gets a chance to heal. I think that might be the only card that is really super strong against in heal unless you're on the water heal. Also, then it counters like Galaxy, but
Yeah.
I don't think people are playing that anymore.
I mean, people are definitely still playing Galaxy, but probably not the water heal.
Yeah. Uh, Galaxy's a mid card, in my opinion.
Whale, arrow, question mark.
Ooh, you said it wrong. Chat, kill him. That's an interrobang. I think our mutual friend Caleb.exe is gonna be pretty heartbroken to hear you call it a question mark. I think they're pretty strong on it being called an interrobang. We'll check the comments of this video and see what they have to say. If they even watch my videos. I don't know if they do.
If Caleb wants to
If
bitch at me
Caleb
for
wants
it,
some sloppy
yeah,
toppy in their life.
yeah. Caleb, DM me if you've got a problem with me not saying interrobang.
Caleb, DM me if you want some sloppy toppy.
Local. I'm glad I do not go to your locals.
We have a great locals. I mean, it's me, Caleb, Kier. I don't know if you know them. They're a pretty good player. We got they've also got a YouTube channel. We've got Bo sometimes comes to one of our locals when they can catch a ride from somebody. So we've got some big names at our locals, and it can be pretty competitive. Or sometimes I show up with Salashade Turbo.
I more so meant because
The sexual
for
harassment.
lack of better words, you are very sexually aggressive.
It's funny. I mean, anybody who tells me they don't appreciate it, I don't do that. But
It's all jokes. I don't care. I'm just I don't want to be sitting there playing and being threatened with blowjobs.
let's see. Is there anything else that really stands out about this premiere? The premiere before this one, we hit the cap. This one we didn't quite hit the cap, but I think we were pretty close. We were over 100 people, right?
We can check on the Play Network. It should tell us. It looks like it was 107.
Okay, so I think that was about pre-Dallas numbers, right?
Yeah, so I think that the one before this hit the cap because of the introduction of the Premier Packs.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you guys haven't seen these cards, they are
God. Where's my
incredible.
That makes it
um,
beautiful.
I want more of these. These eddies are gorgeous. Um, but yeah, I think that that's why the one before the last one hit the cap. Um, so once the novelty of that ran out, everybody already got their pack or whatever. It wasn't going to hit the cap again just because of that.
I think there was still a lot of hype from Dallas too. You know,
Yeah.
I know I was still living off of the high of Dallas. A couple of different people at my locals were still living off of the high of that. Um, I'm hoping that we can keep it still, over 100 every time. It doesn't seem like that has been an issue before Dallas or before the introduction of the premier packs, so we should be able to keep that up. Do you expect to hit cap on the first Firestorm premiere?
Um, Probably not. Just because I know that there are a small handful of players that want to play and can't.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm allowed to say why. Um,
I think
I think
so.
it's public. I think it's public
Public knowledge.
knowledge, but
I was a tester. Unrelated. I'm banned for the first month of events.
yes, I am in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
Entirely unrelated. I cannot play the first month of Firestorm.
Which is why that they're gonna have us on to commentate the very first Firestorm premiere.
Let Caleb commentate.
Let me commentate. Caleb's gotten a chance. I want to commentate while
I
I'm
don't.
banned.
Respectfully, I do not think you are family friendly enough to
I
commentate.
think I can be.
Can
just because
you?
I choose not to be doesn't mean I can't be. I had a good 1 or 2 minute interview with Kay when I won, and I only stuttered for 2 seconds one time while I was trying to think of a word that wasn't fuck. If you go rewatch that interview, you can see me stutter for a second where I'm trying not to say that fucking sucked.
The way that you said that, just trying to think of a word that wasn't fuck, reminded me of one of my little cousins years ago. My aunt cursed at the dinner table at I think it was Thanksgiving or something, and my cousin's just like, "Ooh, you said the fuck word," and I lost it.
All right, well, you got any more final thoughts on this premiere, any of the topping decks, or the future premieres?
Um, I mean, the big thing is, like I said, I want, even though it looks diverse on the surface, I want more diversity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see the same 20 cards in every deck.
What deck
I
do you want to see top? Is there any deck that is, like Cryosect, that is so self-contained that it feels like a good amount of diversity?
so I feel like the problem is that there really isn't. Again, going back to the two really diverse decks that we had in the Pen Terror and the Cryosect, there's nothing else that really does what they do. There's other archetype like Bears. Bears is an archetype, but it still plays the same, 20 cards. You're going to have three Gorgons, three PTA, three Shield, Tsunami. And it's I think with all of those counter runes and Zeus and Demeter being the way that they are, there just isn't room for that kind of innovation.
What I'm hearing is you want me to bring back the full gas water reanimator. No counter runes.
If you top with that, by all means.
I got a top with it in a Daybreak format.
Yeah, do it again. Easy.
I don't know how they let me get away with that once.
But no, that would be my thoughts is, while it looks diverse on the surface, I still think that we have a lot of room to go before it's truly a diverse metagame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy that we see things like Penterror and Cryosect. And I guess we'll count Dymax in this because, yeah, he was playing a weird deck, although it still did share the majority of the good cards. Schnark into Draking is still... It's game plan enough. But I would like to see more decks that are just completely out of the box and something different.
I'm hoping to see a lot less fire personally. I hate playing against fire. It is my worst matchup. I'm probably gonna
But
run it back with
fire
heal again.
fire hasn't had a chance to shine yet though. So like seeing it actually get there for once after, we've had this game roughly for 2 years now,
Hmm.
seeing it finally actually get to a point where it's playable.
Well, it is clearly playable. However, it's in the same kind of space that Dimax and Trish are, where it's right there, but it's not winning.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The Shattered Stars stuff is legal for the May 17th premiere.
Ooh, oh God.
Because it should have, because it was the April Shattered Stars, which
Yeah,
makes it legal for May 1st. So
yeah.
we could see Volcaries. I think that has a very big chance to shine.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I didn't think about that. That is, I'm gonna have to steal Caleb's list, but yeah, that's definitely a playable deck. Um, I imagine it's legal. I don't know why they would make it where those cards aren't legal, since the
I'm like
history has been, yeah, up until
99.9%
this
sure that
point,
they are.
cards have been legal a month after release.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see a bunch of Volcaries in the next event. I'll have to go
I'm
pick
gonna
up
tell you guys
my.
right now, if you want to metagame me, that's what I'm probably gonna be on.
I think I'm probably gonna be on that too. I forgot that was gonna be legal. Uh,
Cool. After we end the sloppy toppy, we'll go to Hephaestus's workshop and get it on.
we're getting it all okay. Yeah. So I guess that's a good way to end it. Be on the lookout for Hephaestus. Don't play shield because that would be really mean, and I don't want to get shielded.
Just tell them no. Oh, you're playing fire. Just play Chains of Prometheus. Easy.
Uh, I saw
The
Swillax
fade.
activate that.
Yeah, it
Against
has the hidden
actually my
animation
buddy
that we didn't
Zane
know about.
from locals. He's in my testing group. Uh, and I think that the only reason Zane didn't win that game is because he grabbed the wrong spirit off of Ambrosia. He meant to grab a frost spirit and he grabbed a water spirit.
Hate to see it.
Had the cryoblast in hand, but yeah. Look out for Volcaries in the next event. Look out for me. Look out for Alex. We're gonna be kicking ass, I hope.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to unsubscribe, thumbs down, report for harassment. Don't click.
For what it's worth, you harass me. So
Don't click the link to SuperInsaiyan in the description.
tell me how you really feel. Damn.
This has been Sloppy Toppy with SuperInsaiyan. Thanks for watching.